Hey watch fans, Brad from Brent Miller Jewelers. And today I have several Omega Speedmasters and I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Which one would you be taking home with you? If you were in the market or shopping for an Omega Speedmaster, would it be one of these or something else? The reason I grabbed 3 black dials and then the white dial is I had a customer in store really basically trying to compare his favorite black dial to the white dial. So we had these 3 out of the black dials available here, and had him kind of just trying those on, looking at these, and then ultimately deciding which one of these like he preferred compared to the white dial. So we'll get through that. Again, I'm not going to go over all the specs. I will list videos or link videos to all of these in the description if you want to see the specs on these. But on the left here is the newest edition of the FOIS, the first Omega in space model. Slightly kind of faux patina with really almost like slate blue sunburst dial, which is a little bit different than the prior generation, which to my memory, I owned it. I believe it was just a regular color markers and then a black dial. So they did change it up a little bit. I do think it looks great. So hopefully you can kind of see the blue tint there coming through. The second one was the Speedmaster Professional. This is the Sapphire edition, one of the exhibition case backs. So obviously if you wanted to save yourself a few dollars, you could go with the Hezolite. But again, one of the Sapphire. So comparing that to the FOIS, and again, I'll throw these all on wrist at the very end, just kind of putting these side by side in the event someone else has the same questions or thinking the same thing and can't see them all. And then last but not least is the Omega Speedmaster 57 bi-compass here with just the 2 subdials compared to 3 on the others. Sandwich dial on it, again, faux patina, and then the stainless steel bezel, just some of the key differences as well as the date here at the 6 o'clock position. So had all 3 of these out and ultimately decided on, well, I'm not going to tell you what personally, as much as I love the sandwich dial and the matte dial, the sandwich dial, the stainless steel bezel, I think between the 3, I am personally leaning towards the Professional. Again, I hinted to the fact that I did own the prior FOIS and ended up selling it simply because it wore, I don't want to say top heavy, but the case thickness, again, I don't have the dimensions completely off the top of my head. Even though it's a larger case at 42 millimeters, the lyre style lugs compared to the straight end lugs on the FOIS, I actually find the larger case to wear more comfortably. So if I was doing it again on the black dial, I think between these 3, it would be the Sapphire, or I should say it would be the Professional. I guess for me, it would just personally be, do I want the exhibition case back? I probably would. However, I do love the look and the warmth of the Hezolite crystal. So again, I will throw all these on at the very end, I promise. Which leads me to my next question. If it's the Sapphire, do you go black or white? I know I've done a video at least some point in the last year or 2 when they first came out with this white dial. But here I am again today after narrowing down my favorite black dial. And I have to tell you, to me, again, it's the white dial. I just like the way those hands pop. Is this more legible? Probably, but the white dial is not too far behind. And while I'm talking about legibility, I'm just kind of rambling on. That's another reason why I prefer the Professional over the FOIS. Just overall legibility. If you look at those handsets, the alpha kind of handsets versus the Professional, it's just more legible. And if you're into the history, this is going to be more historically correct when you talk about the moon watch, I guess. First Omega in space. I guess a lot of people are going to point out that, hey, you missed it. It's first Omega in space. Here's the authenticity. But I get what you're saying. I think to me, this is what I think of when I think of the moon watch. So there you have it. Again, there's not a wrong answer in any of these. It's really just personal preference. What puts a smile on your face? I have rambled on long enough. Let me throw these all on wrist real quick. Again, I have a 6 3/4 inch wrist. And I already stated that I do prefer the 42 Professional case over the FOIS case. It took me a little while to figure that out after owning the FOIS, but again, the straight ends and then just the overall kind of, if you can see it from the side, I do like the smaller case, so I would not argue with the 39 millimeter case, but I think it's overall just how the case actually wears and conforms to my specific wrist. I guess another difference is, do you have a strong preference in the bracelet style? You have the flat link versus the professional style. So it's certainly different looking bracelets. Again, but to me, this just wears more flush to my wrist, and I find it more comfortable, even though it is a slightly larger case. Again, from memory, I don't think the lug to lug was much different on these. So a little bit longer lugs on the FOIS. And again, I'll link all that, but I looking at it now, you can just see how much longer I think they are in the straight lug. And then let me throw on, I do really like the 57, again, larger case. So for me, that end to end there is just a bit too much real estate for my personal preference on my size wrist. However, if this was if this was in the 39 or even the 41 or 42, I may reconsider that, because I do really like the look. Again, I mentioned the sandwich dial. So I will put on the white one here real quick, and then I will give you guys a Lume shot and wrap this up. Again, greatly appreciate you viewing. Let me know what you think. What is your favorite Speedmaster? I did not get into any of the ceramics or the meteorite dial. Had a few of those in stock. I tried to keep it relatively simple and to what the individual was looking at himself. So anxious to see what you guys have to say in the comments. Again, let me hit the lights for you. Again, low lit. I got a few computers now in this room, but here is your FOIS. So I find the Lume a little bit better on the professional. And then here's your 57. Again, sandwich dial. I will say, I think the professional Lume on the sapphire here, a little stronger still. And let's compare that black dial to the white dial. And if you want the Lume, the black dial is definitely the way to go there with those markers. So as always, greatly appreciate you viewing. We'll see you in the next video.